Angle and Claire started at the same company, the same month, the same role, the same salary. Both are sharp. Both are capable. Both the kind of employees their managers described as high potential in the first performance cycle. If you had watched them in year one, you would not have been able to predict what the next 6 years would produce. The inputs looked identical. The outputs did not. Angle is now in her third company. Each move was deliberate, calculated, and timed precisely. Her current base salary is 38% above what she and Claire both earned on their first day. Claire is still at the original company. She has received 5 raises. She is respected, trusted, and considered indispensable by her team. Her salary has moved 11% in 6 years. The difference between them is not talent. It is not a work ethic. It is not even ambition, because Claire is ambitious. She thinks about her career constantly, talks about wanting more, tells herself the right moment is coming. The difference is a single calculation that Angel has been running every 6 months since year 2, and that Claire has never run once. My name is Zara, and today I will show you why staying at a job could be costing you thousands. In year 2, Angle received a recruiter message on a Tuesday afternoon. She almost ignored it. She was not unhappy. She was not burned out. She had good relationships at work and a manager who respected her. The offer the recruiter described was 19% above her current salary. She did not accept it immediately. She did not decline it either. She did something Claire would not have thought to do. She sat down and ran the arithmetic on what staying was actually costing her. Not emotionally, arithmetically. Here is what she found. Her current salary was anchored to the number she had negotiated 3 years earlier, which had itself been anchored to what she was earning at her previous role before that. Every raise she had received since joining was a percentage calculated against that original anchor. 3% of an anchored number, 3.5% of the same anchored number. The raises felt like movement. The baseline had barely shifted. Meanwhile, the market rate for her role, the number that companies with open positions were actively posting and paying, had moved on its own schedule, responsive to demand and competition and industry shifts, entirely indifferent to Angel's loyalty or her manager's goodwill. The gap between her anchored salary and her current market value was not a rumor. It was a number, and the number was uncomfortable. This is the mechanism most employees never see from inside the system. Internal raises are budget-constrained and risk-weighted. Loyalty signals low flight risk, so raises stay modest. External offers are priced by market demand, not history. Every time Angel moved, she forced the market to answer one question honestly. What is Angel worth today? Not 2 years ago. Not at her last review cycle. Today. The market's answer, every single time, was higher than her employer's answer had been, because her employer's answer was built on an anchor. The market's answer was built on scarcity. Claire's salary has never been priced by scarcity. It has only ever been priced by retention, and retention pricing is always, structurally, a discount. Claire knows the gap exists. That is the part that is important to understand. She has known for at least 3 years. A colleague mentioned a number in passing during a lunch conversation that was not supposed to be about salaries. A recruiter sent her a message describing a role that sounded almost identical to hers at a figure that made her stop scrolling. A job posting appeared on her feed, same title, same industry, same scope at a salary band that started above what she was currently earning after 6 years. The information arrived. It always arrives eventually. And what happened next is what happens to almost everyone the first time the number surfaces. The rationalization came quickly. The culture here is better than most places. That posting is probably inflated. That role has different pressures I do not want. The relationships I have built here are worth something real. None of these thoughts were entirely wrong. Some of them were accurate, but they arrived too fast and too conveniently to be genuine analysis. They were the mind protecting a decision already made, reaching for reasons after the conclusion had been quietly reached, not an honest evaluation of new information, a defense of the status quo dressed as deliberation. The second response came a few weeks later, after the rationalization settled. Intention without action. Claire updated her resume one evening. She browsed job boards for 2 or 3 nights. She told herself she would start responding to recruiter messages more seriously. Then the week got busy. The discomfort faded. The updated resume sat in a folder she has not opened since. This cycle has repeated itself 3 times in 3 years. Each time the number surfaces, each time the rationalization arrives, each time the intention forms and dissolves. And every month that cycle completes, without action, the gap between Claire's salary and her market value widens on a schedule nobody announces, in increments too small to feel urgent until they are too large to close quickly. Claire is not a passive person. She is not someone who lacks drive. She is someone who has been running the emotional calculation instead of the arithmetic one, and the emotional calculation always finds a reason to wait. Angel did not treat every recruiter message as a mandate to move. That is a different mistake, and she understood the difference between strategy and restlessness. Each time an opportunity surfaced, she ran 4 questions before acting on it. The first was a market gap check. What does the current market actually pay for this role, at this level, in this industry? Not what she felt she deserved, not what her manager had implied she was worth. What companies with open headcount were actively posting today? She searched it. She found the number. She compared it to her own. The gap, or the absence of one, became a fact rather than an anxiety. The second was a leverage timing question. Was her value visible and genuinely difficult to replace at this specific moment? Pushing for a correction before the organization has registered your scarcity rarely moves the number. Timing matters. If she had just delivered something significant, if a key project had her name attached to its outcome, if her absence would create a problem that was hard to solve quickly, that was the moment leverage existed. She waited for it deliberately. The third was an honest accounting of what staying offered, not a rationalization, an honest one. Was there a promotion path with genuine visibility and a named timeline? Was there a mentor or a skill-building opportunity she could not access elsewhere? Was there a specific thing the next 12 months could give her that the move could not? Sometimes the answer was yes. Sometimes staying was the sharper move, and the numbers confirmed it. She gave those variables real weight, rather than dismissing them to justify a decision she had already made emotionally. The fourth was the compounding question. How long would it take for internal raises to close the gap between her current salary and her current market rate? If the answer was 4 years of 3% raises, the move reset faster than waiting ever would. If the gap was small and the internal trajectory was credible, waiting was defensible. She ran the numbers. The numbers told her what the feeling could not. Claire has never run these questions, not because she lacks the capability, because running them would require confronting an answer she is not yet ready to act on. And the mind, reliably, protects us from calculations whose conclusions demand something uncomfortable. Peter and Fred, Nathan and his replacement hire, Angel and Claire. The names change, the mechanism does not. The system that employs you is a rational actor. It is not cruel and it is not generous. It prices you at the lowest number you will accept without leaving, and it adjusts that number only when the cost of losing you exceeds the cost of keeping you underpaid. This is not a moral failure. It is an incentive structure operating exactly as designed. The organization does not volunteer corrections. It responds to pressure. And the only pressure that reliably moves the number is the credible possibility that you will leave. Loyalty is real. Relationships are real. The comfort of a familiar environment where you are trusted and known has genuine value that cannot be transferred overnight to a new company. These things deserve honest weight in the calculation. The cost of discounting them is also real. It is just a cost that arrives slowly, in increments, on a schedule that feels manageable until the day you run the arithmetic and find that 6 years of loyalty has produced 11% while the market moved 38%. Claire will run the numbers eventually. Most people do. The question is not whether the calculation will become impossible to avoid. The question is how much of the gap will have compounded by the time it does. The calculation has been running on you this entire time. The only question is whether you have been running it back. If this channel is giving you clarity on systems you have been living inside without a map, subscribe right now. This is exactly what we are here to do. No noise, no motivation, no advice that sounds good and works for no one specifically. Just the mechanics, named precisely, so you can make decisions with accurate information instead of comfortable assumptions. Hit subscribe. Send this to someone who has been meaning to update their resume for 8 months. New content drops regularly, and what is coming next belongs on your screen. Subscribe to Zara versus the Workplace.